What the hell? It's crazy somebody on this freaking radio. Gosh, all the entertainment you need right there on some of these stupid things.
I'm gonna hop on the real shit right there. Brightness to weight. All that other good stuff. Old Blue Waffle way out. We're gonna leave him to it. But I'm telling you.
Whatever. Anyway. There's a spring. Here's our book. Do we have the data in this book that tells us what spring tension this should be so we can test it? It's part of this rebuild that I'm really having second thoughts on, to be honest with you. On this head, we'll rebuild a set of heads. You know, we'll get its sister off the block eventually. But I'm really having second thoughts here. If I want to spend that much time and effort rebuilding this POS smog head, that's just basically a piece of junk. You would rebuild an engine by tearing these off, and as I like to say, and I really overkill with the saying, you know, put it in the front yard, tie a goat to it. You don't want this back in your vehicle. You want to open it up so we can breathe. So what do? All right, we got some options. We could stop this build dead cold in its tracks. Put this, or those set of heads, with these set of heads. These are the D5AEs, or D5AEs, I think, quite commonly known as the worst head Ford has ever made. It's right there. That is as low as it gets. We have some options. You know, I could get my hands on another one of these 351 what is this? A D0 OE. You can see that. 1970 351 Windsor head, closed chamber. A lot of people believe is the best, you know, street head you can get, non-Cleveland, of course. Now I've got designs on putting this head on this block. If this block turns out to be any good, we're going to get it in a hot bath here in a few days. Then we'll magnaflux it and we'll see if it's any count. The reason I want to put it on this block is because the block that we have, the 1985 block, I'm not sure where. You know, I have to look it back up. But there's water jacket ports somewheres on the front or the back, if I ain't mistaken, that are subpar and weak on that particular design of block around 1985. They corrected it in 1986. The next year they corrected that problem. So they're not desirable to build as a performance engine. So there you go. You got a boat anchor. So why do you just leave it apart? No, well, it's money on the tree. But I don't want to do a full complete rebuild, a performance rebuild. So I'm right back again by basically just spiffing all these back up, rebuilding them, put the engine back the way it was. I'm back in that circle again. But I haven't made up my mind if I want to do that or not. So these 351 heads, because I have to get another one because this one is destroyed, its sister. It is absolutely destroyed. People that know about cylinder heads know what they're looking at here. And that's called destruction. And it's a shame because I'm going to have to search high and low to find another one of these heads. I'll have to drive at least 100 miles to find one. And I will. Fine. We'll stick it on this block. I have a 3 set of Cleveland heads here. Open chamber Cleveland heads. Commonly known as the V2s, the 2 Vs. That I am going to put on the 351 block and make a poor man's cleaver engine. So those heads are allocated for another project. And this is a 289 head that, there's dished to pieces. They're really going to have to require a lot of machine work. Its brother or sister over here has a crack right there. It's cracked, so they're no good. We had a project that I was going to do once I get my flow bench actually completed, and there's its undercarriage. Then I was going to have a shootout, a flow bed shootout, with all these heads, as compared to the first generation LS1 head, also known as the Cathedral head, unmodified. And we were going to start from bone scratch, bone stock, get flow numbers, port polish, do it again, and see how we compare to the Corvette head. Because if you're going to build a performance engine, this is the route to go. Chevrolet is just cheap. Ford is expensive. So how does all that stuff compare to a non-aftermarket aluminum head? We'll find out. It's a good little project, and I still want to pull it off in a video series. It'll be a nice 10-part series. But right now, I'm in a spot of bother because I don't know whether to continue with this rebuild or not. I'm 50-50. I'd like to get that engine put back together because it's not desirable for a performance build. And just get it put back together, get it rebuilt, be a nice grocery getter, somebody to put in their farm truck, sell it for $300-400, get it out of here. It's probably what I'll end up doing. But is it a project that I want to pursue now, or do I want to put on the back burner? I don't know. I don't know. So we're kind of stuck in a rut here of where we want to go with this next. We'll stick this video up because, you know, this channel was just getting off the ground. I got a couple of viral videos, but it's certainly not about car engines or cylinder heads. You know, we're seeing if the channel can take off a little bit. We're seeing, you know, if people get interested in what we're doing. Just a poor man's, you know, cylinder head shop. It's a neat little shop. We have a lot of fun in here. And is there enough interest in watching a video, you know, of rebuilding this? I doubt it. I highly doubt it. But we got a lot of toys sitting here to choose from to put, you know, to provide content for the channel. So we're going to play like we are continuing on to do it. So in the next video, I'll get these numbers. We'll get set up on the first stage of rebuilding those cylinder heads, which is testing these springs. We got to clean the valves. Also got to put that in the bath. Do the basics. Get its brother off the block. And let's go through it just like an old school shop would. Grinding stones, the whole 9 yards. No fancy machinery. This is a basic shop. I did not want to spend myself into bankruptcy just, you know, getting off the ground. Then we'll flow bench it if I can get this thing put together. And then we'll do a standard rebuild. And it's something that you know, maybe that's not on YouTube, but I haven't seen, you know, because everybody's into extravagance. Let's do something basic. So maybe it'll be a good idea to start with the basics. And this is the basics. So next video, we'll test the springs, get to it. See ya.